Hi, I'm kchoi. Welcome back to my channel. So a few years ago, I made the decision to switch from a career in PR to a career in consulting, and I now work as a change management consultant. I know a lot of you out there have questions about consulting and are interested in becoming consultants, and I actually do have a video that gives a high-level overview of what consulting is, so I will link that up here in the cards as well as in the description box if you want to know more. But in this video, I'll be sharing 5 pros and 5 cons of consulting based on my own experience as a consultant, as well as things that I've observed or heard from friends who work at Big 4 or MBB consulting firms. So let's just get into it. The first pro is that when you're a consultant, you usually get to work in a lot of different industries. This is great if you don't have a particular interest or passion in one industry, whether that's healthcare or consumer goods or anything like that, because in consulting, you usually get access and opportunities in all different kinds of industries. This is something I really appreciate about my job because I always get to be learning new things. Now, the flip side or the con to this is that you can tend to become a generalist in lots of different industries and not have a particular expertise in any single one. Over time, it is possible and normal to gain an expertise in a particular industry or issue, but that obviously takes some time. So at least in the beginning part of your career, and at least for the first several years, you're probably going to be working in an array of industries rather than focusing in on a single one, depending on the firm you're at. So maybe you're at a consulting firm that has a very specific focus, but in general, as a consultant, you're working from industry to industry, so you tend to get a little bit of a surface level knowledge across all different kinds of industries. The second pro, which is related, is that you get to work on lots of different projects. So not only do you get to work in different industries and with different companies, but you also get to do different projects, as in solve different issues for them. In the video that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I sort of break down what those different issues are, so you can check that out to learn a bit more. For me, I work on multiple different projects for different clients at the same time. There are other consultancies where you are on one project for a set number of months, but either way, you get to switch out your projects and do something a little new every single time. The con is that naturally you're gonna like some projects more than others, so you're gonna have some ups and downs in terms of how much you're enjoying your work. You might be staffed on a project for 3 months that you absolutely love, and then the next one comes along and it's a 6-month project that you're just not as passionate about or excited about. As you move up in your career and gain more experience, then you can start to not only gain more expertise in a specific area, but also have more of a say in the projects that you're on. But when you're first starting out and in those first several years, you have to work a little bit harder to get the projects that you want to get. The third pro is travel. Now, not all consultants travel, because you might have some that are based in a particular office and all the clients are local, so there isn't much traveling going on. But a lot of consultants do have to travel around the US or even internationally to meet with their clients. Sometimes you'll get staffed on a project that is in a really cool place, but I would actually say that the pro from this is not so much the travel itself, but the rewards and the status that you get from all that travel. Personally, most of my projects are based in the US, and so I've done travel to Nashville, Houston, Philadelphia, kind of all over the US, and not so much internationally yet. I'm definitely always expressing my interest at work in traveling internationally for a project, so hopefully something will come up that is the right fit. But usually when I have a work trip and I'm traveling for client work, I'm just there like the night before a meeting, then go to the meeting in the morning, and then I'm flying back home that evening. So there isn't usually that much time to do any actual exploring or traveling, but because of all the travel that I do, I gain status with my preferred airline and hotels, so you just get to reap the benefits of that, like upgrades and things like that. It also means that I can rack up miles and be able to make trips based solely on my miles, so I am paying nothing or just paying like a $5 fee to book a plane ticket. The only con I would say that comes with traveling for work is that it is much harder to gain a healthy work-life balance. It can be hard to get into a routine. For example, meal prepping is pretty impossible to do if your schedule is constantly changing, or even if you're a consultant who travels from Monday to Thursday, then you're only home for a few days out of the week, so you tend to do things like going out to eat and instead of prepping your meals and things like that. Also, when you travel a lot for work, your work time and personal time tend to blend together a lot. For example, sometimes I need to book a flight that doesn't get me home until 11:30 at night, which means a lot of my personal time has been taken up by work. Pro number 4 is that you get to work with a lot of big companies, often Fortune 100 companies that are really cool and well known. That means you might get to go to the headquarters of a really well-known company, meet with leaders there, and it's just really cool that you get to help shape companies that are so well known across the world. The con is that those companies and clients could be a lot more demanding. This is really a generalization because some people and clients you'll just get along with better on a personal level just because your working styles or your personalities match. So regardless of the company, there are going to be some clients that are more demanding or more difficult to work with and others that are a little easier to work with. But I would say that the bigger the client or more well-known the client is, there's just that much more pressure to make sure you're performing and bringing results. And pro number 5 is that the compensation or the pay is usually pretty good. According to Glassdoor, the average salary for a consultant in the US is about $79,000, which when you compare to a salary for a software engineer, for example, is actually kind of low. But when you look at the median salary in the US as a whole, which is $61,000, then it's actually on the more highly compensated side. The con is that while you might earn more money than you would in some other careers, because of some of the challenges I mentioned earlier in the video, like demanding work schedules and difficulty to achieve work-life balance, a lot of consultants tend to get burned out and leave after just a few years. For example, at BCG, 43% of the employees have been there for less than 2 years, and 77% have been there for less than 5 years. So despite the pay, because of the lifestyle of consulting, a lot of consultants tend to leave after just a few years. Now, as a last pro and flip side to that, many of these consultants leave their jobs because they have an even better opportunity, whether it's a job at a different company or maybe it's an acceptance to a prestigious business school. Whatever the reason, having that consulting experience on your resume makes you a very valuable asset, which is why so many people decide to go into consulting in the first place. That's it for this video. I hope it was helpful and gave you some insights into some of the benefits of consulting as well as the challenges that can come along with it. Please leave any questions in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them there or in a future video. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!